Have you ever been to an event where in the middle of the speaker speaking, the mic goes dead, there's feedback from the microphone. Sometimes the presentation isn't projecting onto the screen for some reason, or it's glitchy. The speakers aren't working. There's lots of feedback in the speaker. It's like in and out. It sounds like a scratchy record. Well, my friends, today on Eco Insider TV, we're going to dive into audiovisual malfunctions, and I have 6 tips to share with you on how to prevent that. Eco Insider TV is the place where you get all the eco focused event planning tips, money and time saving information, spotlighting on companies that are trendsetters, new statistics, what's going on in the government, all those things, right, Renee? Absolutely. My name is Melody Dixon, and I am the CEO and founder of Pro Event Planners, curators of eco focused events. I support people in events who are, they're like steeped in the knowledge. They live and breathe all things sustainability. It's in their home, it's in their business, and it's in their events. And as such, they hire me to make sure that their event has no single-use containers, no plastic, reduction or removal of wasted paper, wasted food, eliminated, all that. I also support people who have no idea about sustainability, but they're curious. They realize that how they're living or running their business, uh, there's a lot of waste, and there's some things that they can do to improve that, but they're not sure how. So they reach out to me, and I hold their hands, and we take tiny eco-focused steps together. And over time, when compounded, it makes a positive, bigger impact on the environment. Now, what is sustainability? It is meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. I like to explain it as if God is expansive and big and creative, and we're from God, so we're that way as well. So we get to create things, start a business, create art, create facial products, create courses, all the things, because we too are expansive, but we get to do so intentionally so that the resources we have to use today to enjoy our expansive life, we can save some for our children and our children's children and people 10 generations deep. Now, there are 3 pillars to sustainability. And if you see me look up here, I'm looking at Instagram. Down here, I am looking on YouTube. So the 3 pillars to sustainability, and it's not in any particular order. The first one is the environment. It's we reduce, we reuse, and we recycle. So I'm tongue-tied. We reduce what we're already using so that we're not wasting. We reuse stuff we already have that's still functional instead of buying more new things. And we recycle, maybe to convert stuff into energy, maybe melt down the plastic and make more plastic just to kind of get more life out of the plastic before it goes into the landfill, all the things. I like to add a fourth to that, and that's upcycling, where we convert old things into new things, give it a whole new life cycle. Like there's this show that I always reference. It's on well, it used to be on HGTV. It's called Flea Market Flip, and they go to, I think it was in New Jersey, a huge flea market that's been around forever, and they buy old bicycles or old strollers or old chest of drawers, and they make brand new furniture from it or art, and then they sell it maybe for charity sometimes or to win the competition. But they give it a whole new life, and then they sell it to people at the flea market to take to their home. So now the cycle starts again. So those are the 4 things: reduce, reuse, recycle, and upcycle. Next is economics. Economics is where we get to be sustainable and eco-focused in our living, but we also get to make money as well. So if you're running a business, if you're eliminating the purchase of paper from Office Depot or Quill, whoever you use, then the money that you save will help you to go digital and even save more. And you get to use more the money that you've saved for other things in your business that can make you more money. The third option is social responsibility. We get to take care of each other. People have to have a place to live, food to eat, clothes to wear, health care, and a job so that they can take care of their family. Or even if it's not a job, maybe they get to have resources to start their own business, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs these days. And everyone is creative and everyone can be an entrepreneur. So we get to make room for that in the pillars of sustainability. So those are the three pillars. Today, let's see what Renee says. Renee says, always learning something new and make the world a better place together. Absolutely, Renee. I'm always learning myself. I research everything on sustainability and I try to incorporate things in my life. So when I speak on it, I can say I'm actually doing this in my home and I can see the benefits from it. Hey, Monique. Monique, my sister, brings me vegetable peels and things for my composter. And I have had, I think, almost like a year and a half now of having a composter. And I've harvested the cured composting material and added it to my garden, and it has regenerated the soil. So it absolutely works. Renee says your work is amazing. Thank you, my love. Thank you so much. So we're going to talk about audiovisual malfunction. That's a big, big thing. If you've ever been to an event where the mic stops working or there's massive and frequent feedback or the speakers aren't working or the presentation from the keynote is it stopped in the middle or they can't find the information. So many things can happen with poor planning for audiovisual. Managing the moving parts in an event can often be stressful in itself, especially if certain components are neglected, like the audiovisual. Audiovisual, it just means everything that you use to present your event, whether you're hearing it or you're seeing. Audio and visual. That for the audio part means speakers and microphones. The visual could be like an LCD projector and screen. Those are some basic examples. I'm going to give you 6 tips today to ensure that your audiovisual experience is positive, because it can make or break your event. I mean, people will remember negative things more readily than they will positive things. So yes, food is important. Yes, the decor is important, but the audio visual is just as important. I think these days, now that a good portion of events are hybrid, where it's in person and some virtual, audio visual and all the techness of it all is even more important. So number 1, include audiovisual in the initial discussions of your event. Typically, people will think, okay, the conversation is what kind of event you're having, how many people you're expecting, what date, what time, what kind of event, what do you want to see. In that early conversation, audiovisual gets to be spoken about. So if you're going to have a keynote speaker, this is going to be a conference, and you want to invite industry leaders to speak on the stage, then immediately you need to hire an audiovisual company so that you can say, okay, these are the keynote speakers, they'll have presentations, or it's going to be a virtual event, or it's going to be we want to use an event platform, because now they can have conventions virtually on using an app. You can go on the trade show floor, visit trade show booths, and have one-on-one consultations as if you're in a physical trade show, but it's virtual. It's all maneuvering through the platform, and you need a strong audiovisual company to manage that. So for sure, tip number 1, include audiovisual in the initial conversation because we want to know what role it's going to play in the success of the event. Number two, hire an event planner. I know you're thinking, Melody, you're an event planner. That's why you're saying that. Yes and no. Yes, because you need my help. No, because I'm not saying only hire me, hire an event planner of your choice, a professional event planner who has the experience to be able to say, if you want to have a virtual conference, then you wouldn't have the conference on Zoom. You would need to have the conference on a virtual event platform. Hi, Lisa. Lisa is with Prairie Hill Flower Company. Gorgeous, gorgeous floral arrangements. Today, we're talking about audiovisual malfunctions at events. And tip number one was to include audiovisual in the initial conversations, like what date, what type of event, how many people in that conversation gets to be your audiovisual need. Lisa says, hey, love. And she said, yes, so important. Absolutely. The second tip is to hire an event planner. Event planners have professional, experienced event planners will know what's the right venue. And they will know if you're doing a hybrid event, how would that work in a conference? You would need an event platform, like a software, a website that allows you to maneuver through the different sections of it, and it mimics an actual trade show floor. It's called an event platform. There's so many of them, so many that you can go into different rooms and make appointments to see vendors. These are virtual rooms, of course. You can see virtual demonstrations. Some of them even have the opportunity for augmented reality, where you put on the glasses, almost like a goggles, and you can interact physically with the things in the virtual room. So it looks like you're there and you're actually trying the product. Only a planner who has that wide corporate event experience will understand that and will know to recommend step number three, which is hire an audiovisual company. So after you decide what kind of event, you hire the planner, then the planner is going to help you get the right audiovisual company. The reason why I say that as step number three is the audiovisual company can assist you in choosing the right venue. If it's an in-person event, you're expecting 200 people, they can walk in the space and look, okay, this is where we recommend you put the stage for these reasons, lighting, visual angles based on the layout of the room, outlets and things. If you need to do staging and rigging is where they have these metal, I guess, I don't want to say ladders, but they're poles, but they have grooves in them so you can step and climb up. But they build almost like a square hanging over the stage with four legs. And from that, they can hang lighting and speakers and all different things. They can tell you if the ceiling is the right height for that to happen based on what you want to do with the event. So you take the audiovisual company along with you while you're trying to find the right venue. All right. A part of hiring the audiovisual company, some venues may have their internal vendors where they only want to use their in-house audiovisual company because it's an added, I guess, revenue source for them. But I'm going to say to you, weigh the pros and the cons of that by shopping. So discuss with each audiovisual company your needs. Notice what they recommend. If you're doing a conference and you want to have a panel discussion, you need to have different mics, where you're going to do a wireless lavalier, or they're going to hang mics down from the ceiling, or they're going to have standing mics. Talk to them about that. If you're going to have dinner during the speech, maybe you need louder speakers because the clanging of the plates and things, different kind of speakers around the room, different sizes for different areas, who knows? But I would say get 3 quotes. If the venue says they want you to use theirs, get a quote from them and get a quote from 2 outside. And step number 4 is going to be key. Step number 4 is have each audiovisual company do a quote walkthrough. That means based on what you've spoken to them about, like, this is what I need, this is what I'm thinking, what do you recommend is the right equipment for me? And then have them go through each line item and say what this thing does and what it's going to cost and what's going to happen to your event if you don't have this particular equipment. The worst thing you can do is to say what you want and then have the professional not recommend the right kind of equipment, and you're just going to assume that because you say that you're going to have a keynote speaker, you're going to have a panel discussion, that they'll just throw in all the things that you'll need on the invoice. Audiovisual companies are run by people, and not, especially if they're just an employee, they may not be as emotionally committed to the business as the owner would be or somebody in management. So you want to make sure that you get a feel, have the person walk through and ask as many questions as you need to ask until you're comfortable with the fact that what they have on the quote is what you need. Then you compare all 3. If all 3 have the same list of equipment for you to do what you need, then you're on the right track. Now it becomes a matter of service. Are they including an on-site tech person? Is there going to be an audiovisual station where they have like a motherboard type thing with different lights and buttons and screens so they can manage the lighting when you need to have the lights go up and down, or turn the speaker up or down, or this mic on or off, or put the MC's mic higher than everyone else, all that. It's very important. So do a quote walkthrough. Number 5, do not skimp on the audiovisual. Yes, it's one of the pricier items for events. Hi, I don't want to I don't want to butcher your name, but it's Gary Punzi. Thank you for joining us. On today's Eco Insider TV, we're talking about audiovisual malfunctions, and I shared the disaster that can happen when a microphone goes out of whack, the presentation, the video presentation is not working, the projector is not working, the speakers, it's glitchy, there's feedback, all that. So the tip number 1 I gave was for everyone to include audiovisual in the initial conversation. Number 2 was hire a professional event planner who has experience with corporate events. Number 3, using the planner's assistance, hire an audiovisual company. And get a quote of, if you find a venue that has an in-house audiovisual company, get a quote from them, but get 2 others as well, and compare and make sure that they're all saying the same thing. Number 4, do a quote walkthrough. Make sure that they're explaining line item by line item, because the worst thing you want to do is assume that because you say you're having a keynote speaker or a panel discussion or whatever your corporate event is, and you expect that once you've said that, the audiovisual company will just add on the right equipment. You have to be vigilant because it's your money and it's your event. So make sure that they go through line by line and explain to you what each thing does. And you ask as many questions as you need. Number 5, do not skimp on the AV. Yes, it's pricey, but if you look at all three quotes and they're saying the same kind of equipment and the price range is about the same, then that's what you get to spend if you want a successful event. Now, if in your going through the line items and you say, well, that particular thing cost $2,000, what's going to happen to my event if I remove that thing? And they'll explain it to you, and then you can weigh the pros and cons. But what's going to happen is the audiovisual company is going to make sure you sign off that you don't want this thing, so that should your event have a mishap because you didn't get this thing that they professionally recommended, then the fault is on you because they gave you their opinion and you didn't take the professional opinion. But if you need to get the right equipment and there's all three are saying the same thing, that's what you get to pay for. One thing I would say for sure for you to include is cloud storage, especially if you're having speakers and presentations. Because when these speakers, they're flying in from God knows where, they're rushing from the airport, the car picks them up, they take them to the hotel, they change and all that. They may rush out and maybe forget their laptop or forget their thumb drive with the information. If you pay for cloud storage with your audiovisual company, they'll have it right there. So the speaker forgets the thumb drive with the information, boom, the AV company can pull it from the cloud. So there's no interruption in the flow of your program. So don't skimp on audiovisual. Number 5, communicate event changes. I know in my experience, like the most recent one, there was a gala for the Jamaican independence. It was held at the Marriott in Pompano Beach, no, Coral Springs in here in South Florida. And there was somebody, one of the speakers was sick. And so they had to bump up the other speakers that were coming after her. I was a liaison between the I guess the host of the event, the MC, and the audiovisual person to make sure that AV people were aware that one speaker has dropped out, and so now everyone gets bumped up, and so the program timeline has changed. So frequent and clear communications with audiovisual is important. Now, all of this can be a lot to manage because you're doing your event, you don't have time to be managing schedules and checking with AV and doing sound checks and all that. You're focused on your speech. You're focused on who's coming to your event, the persons you want to impress, or the attendees, your content, all that. As a corporate event planner, I get to manage all the behind the scenes for you. I help you create your run of show, your program, all the details, help you find the right audiovisual company, work with them to make sure you have the right equipment that you need for your event. Now, to support you, in the link in my bio for Instagram and for YouTube, it's going to be in the description of this live, is a link to my website that showcases my pro event package. This package allows you to speak what you want, like Melody, I'm having a corporate event. I want it to be the 18th of March. I'm expecting 200 people. I'm going to have 5 speakers, 1 keynote, entertainment, the whole thing, and I want it just to be fabulous. Here's the money that I have to spend for that. I take all that information, fine-tune your budget, reach out to audiovisual company. Between AV and myself, we find the perfect venue that's going to showcase your presentation and everything and support and elevate your brand in the right light so that you don't have to. I'll take care of all the behind the scenes of it all. So when you click the link, it's going to bring you to the Pro Event package. You can learn more there. If you have any questions, my email address is info@myproeventplanners, and I'll answer any questions you have about your event, use of audiovisual or even recommend audiovisual companies for you. All right, Lisa says money well spent. Absolutely. It's worth it. I mean, the last thing you want people to remember about your event is audiovisual failure and the keynote that they went to hear. They couldn't even hear him or her because the mic was glitchy or the speaker wasn't loud enough. And that's all you'll see on social media. Maybe you'll get nasty emails and you'll definitely see it reflected in your revenue when maybe because the poor presentation, people don't feel confident in using your business and so they don't buy your product. I mean, it's a trickle down effect. So everything about you speaks, right? So that's one of the things. So the website is myproeventplanners.com. Click on the events package. To learn more, click on Pro Event Package, and it's detailed. It breaks it down line by line. Now, if you see it and it doesn't have what you're looking for, we do custom event planning packages as well. So let's connect. My name is Melody Dixon, CEO and founder of Pro Event Planners, curators of eco-focused events. My email again is info@myproeventplanners. All right. That's it for today, my friends. That's it. Thank you, Renee, Monique, Lisa, and Gary Ponce. Sorry about your name, but I'm so happy you're here. I hope this information was supportive, and I will see you on the next live. I think I'll be doing one tomorrow. All right. Thank you and take care.